Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and today on Hercules and the Space Gods, we begin a new inquiry, the Cerulean Sphere. And we are here with Michael Dunkin, and he is in contact with and working with Blue Angels, and we'll find out all about that. Greetings, Michael. How are you?
Hello there, Hercules. Greetings.
Now, I've known you for very many years now, and you've had some remarkable adventures in the paranormal. What attracted you to angels, and in specific, Blue Angels?
Well, the Blue Angels is kind of a recent development, actually, Hercules. The way it got started for me with angels wasn't until I was in college. I was mostly an athlete growing up. I was a soccer player and I was a baseball player. Although when I was in second grade, I kind of discovered that I could sing. That I was a singer, and I could sing with the radio and sing with singers on the radio because my dad listened to an oldies station, but they also played 70s music, 70s songs like Bee Gees and Olivia Newton-John and Barbra Streisand and all that. So and they were like right in my range, perfectly in my vocal range, especially like in second grade because my voice was kind of a higher voice. I'm a tenor. But at that time, I was also in touch with my falsetto, which is the really high notes, and I could mimic the Bee Gees, especially like Night Fever, song,
Uh-huh.
Night Fever, and Olivia Newton-John, like I love you, I honestly love you, like that, And I thought, wow, what a talent I have! I can't believe it. It must be something from the divine. It must be divinely inspired, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a major breakthrough in my life. But it wasn't until I was 13 that I had like an epiphany when I was sitting in church that, I had a really special purpose. I was supposed to find something important and do something important. Well, when I entered my first college, I got in touch with not in touch, but I enrolled in a general ed class, and it was an English class. And the professor had us read literature about UFOs, science
Oh, wow.
fiction, UFOs, but also she gave us a book called Way of the Peaceful Warrior to read.
Dan Millman.
Yeah, please.
Dan Millman, yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Dan Millman. And that opened me up to a lot of ideas, especially Eastern ideas of meditation, Zen Buddhism, mindfulness, so on and so forth. So I was kind of ready because of that book. I read it many, many times and studied it and practiced a lot of the things that Dan did in the book, the character, which I believe kind of prepared me for meeting my angel, my wife, Diane.
Mm-hmm.
I met her in college in 1991, May 8th, 1991. I met her in college, and she had me interested in the book Emanuel Swedenborg's Heaven and Hell. And of course, Heaven and Hell is just, chock full of angels and what they look like and how they live and what human beings need to do to become angels. And it was just fabulous. It really started me on my spiritual journey and my life journey. So I would say that that's kind of how I first started getting in touch with angels, was through my beautiful angel Diane.
That's a wonderful story. And Diane was an angel. She was an awesome individual, and I'm glad to have crossed paths with her and worked with her for as long as I did. I miss her.
Yes, what a wonderful lady. And you know, I was at the because I'm here in Prescott now. You know, I moved from California to Prescott here. And there's a really nice little shop. There's a metaphysical shop in the downtown in Prescott. And I was talking to the lady because I was looking for a color version of Manly P. Hall's Secret Teachings of All Ages, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Fabulous book.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Isn't it? It's so fabulous. And you know, Hercules, I wanted to tell you, if you wanted to, there's on YouTube, there's a whole audio reading of it.
Oh wow!
And I just recently was listening to some of it. It's fabulous. But anyway, I was talking to the lady at the desk there, at the front desk, and she said, "Well, you know, she's right there with you." And I said, "You know, I think you're right, because I've been searching for her after she passed. You know, I've even, you know, tried to work on a little bit of, you know, like soul travel, astral projection, to try and touch base with her, But this lady confirmed that she was just right here with me, and I feel like she is. So she's beautiful, and she's still beautiful."
And I wouldn't put it past her wanting to be with her loved ones and being there with and for her loved ones.
Yeah, why not? But anyway, so then the journey continues to our Urantia book, like I told you earlier. I think in the green room, that you know, we started getting back into our Urantia book studies in 2011, and got really involved with the Urantia book community. And it was then that I started really getting into, because I have a music degree and a voice degree. Mm-hmm. I started really getting into the you know, writing songs and things like that. And I have some albums now of Urantia book inspired songs. But it was kind of through that experience that kind of started opening both Diane and me up to so many, just thinking about so many different angels and celestial creators and administrators that are, you know, presented in the Urantia book. Well, so fast forward then to from 2011, with our involvement with the community more, to 2013, when Diane had an encounter with the local universe father and the local universe mother. And you can read about them in the Urantia book there. They create and they administer what's called the local universe. And our local universe is one of many in the what's called the grand universe. But this local universe, administered by the local universe father and mother, I mean, they're the ones that pretty much create angels and different beings to administer their local universe. But anyway, she had this encounter with them. And they said they wanted to start meeting with us. And we were like blown away, you know, and she was getting other messages too, that, you know, we were being we were kind of being helped and guided and nurtured by these two celestials, local universe father and local universe mother. And she was told that through her initial contact with the Infinite Mother Spirit. Now, in the Urantia book, she is one of the Trinity. She's the female aspect of the third person of Trinity. She's the Infinite Mother Spirit, and she's the one that is really instrumental in manifesting mind throughout the universe. She's the one that kind of gets mind started, creatures using mind, so on and so forth. So she introduced us to the local universe father and mother, who then started having team meetings with us. So Diane and I would go up into the one of our rooms, either our great room or what we call our Urantia room, and we would have team meetings with them. We would ask them questions. Sometimes they would offer information, and sometimes we would have to ask questions, generally about anything. I mean, about anything really. So then a lot of celestials started coming, right?
Uh-huh.
So we had at first, and this is really kind of amazing, Hercules. At first, one of our very, very first celestial team meetings that we had was with whom we call the celestial musicians, right? Because Diane and I are both singers and musicians. So they brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 celestial musicians to meet with us. Their hostesses, the two hostesses that brought in the celestial musicians, were Della. That's her personal name, but her goddess name is Diana, like in the Greek.
Okay.
And then the other hostess who welcomed them in was Corinth, and that was her personal name. But her god name, her Greek god name, is Hestia. And you know Hestia, of course, right?
Of course.
So Hestia and Diana brought in the celestial musicians. From then on, the Father and Mother came, the second person of Trinity, Father and Mother came, Melchizedek's came. We had Melchizedek's coming to speak with us. And then eventually we had Lord Maitreya come to us, who started a magisterial mission on Earth, we were told. And Lord Maitreya is, of course, one of the central figures of a group that we are associated with called Maitreya Great Tao. Well, we found a parallel for him in the Urantia book, and the parallel is that he's a paradise son who either takes embodiment or doesn't take embodiment, incarnation, to perform magisterial missions, where he kind of evaluates the state of humanity, to see if there's any help that's needed. And of course, the Earth needs a lot of help, right? So, so we had a lot of different folks. Well, I kind of want to fast forward then to now, because now I'd say, well, let's take it back to about 2 years ago. Hestia started coming to us. What she would do is she would flash some lights into Diane's vision, like kind of like her inner vision. You know what I mean?
So this wasn't something that was visible to mortal eyes. It was something that Diane's sensitivity was picking up.
Yes. But also she was receiving lights, these swarming, swimming lights from the Infinite Mother Spirit. She, if in Greek she's known as Tethys or Tethys.
Uh-huh.
But Hestias were a little different than the Infinite Mother spirits. But anyway, a couple years ago, then Hestia started. Well, actually, oh wait, I want to go back because the Infinite Mother spirits' lights actually showed up visibly for Diane one time. She actually saw them in the mirror, as opposed to in her inner vision, right? Okay, so Hestia is coming to Diane to help her. And what she's doing is she's using these lights to tell her that she needs to start listening to a message, to what Hestia has to say. Okay, so this goes on for about a year or so. They're just, I think, because she was starting to slow down and she was starting to get kind of ill. So I believe, and I think she did too, that Hestia was there to help her, what I call, yeah. I called it, I called the lights that came to her a star signature. So it's like she would flash the star signature, and Diane would know that was Hestia because of the star signature, the star she was getting, right? Well, the Hestia was coming, but toward the end, within the last half of last year, there were some other angels then that started appearing and coming and giving her messages and being with us in the home, right? So, do you have any questions about any of that?
Oh no, I'm listening to this tale unfold.
Okay. So I wanted to give you a little background on Hestia's lights, because there was a time when the lights were different, and I wanted to read just a little bit from my book, called The League of Azure Blue Angels. I wanted to read a little bit to just try and kind of bring it up to speed, so to speak. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So this is from chapter 11, and this is called A Visitor from the Sun, chapter 11. On Monday, October 5th, 2024, Diane sat me down and told me that she had received a message from the Celestials. She said they gave her instructions to relay this message directly to me. That's me, right?
Uh-huh.
She said to me, quote, "They want you to know that you are an angel," end quote. I was a little taken by surprise. I responded to Diane in a question, and I asked her, "Do you mean an actual angel?" Because some people, Hercules, will say, "Oh, you're such an angel, oh, you're so sweet." So I said, "Do you mean an actual angel?" Well, we had recently been reflecting upon our lives up to this point, and how it seemed that I had been personally sent on a special message to help her and her family. First, I arrived at her home with Mark II and Darlene, which is a different tale from story from Diane's meditations.
Okay.
I was also sent to provide comfort for Diane and her husband during job loss times. Well, her husband later passed away, but and their distressing family crises in the 1980s. Then I met Diane in the flesh in 1991, and we began our growth and our ministry together. And later, because of all the job losses, I stabilized the home. So, me editorializing. So I basically came into Diane's life. I helped her through the crises. I helped to raise her nephews and niece. I stabilized the home, otherwise I would have lost the home. So, I kind of looked at that as, well, I was kind of sent to her to help her, like an angel would help somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Later that night, I'm going back to the book here. Later that night, as we were discussing details of her message and what this meant, I was naturally a bit skeptical. I have not, sorry, I have not always acted like an angel and have had many ups and downs and have certainly displayed many human foibles and idiosyncrasies throughout my life here on Earth. So I said to Diane, I said, well, I'd like them to provide proof or give me a sign that I am indeed an angel. And I did that in my meditation that night too. I asked them, I said, could you please send me a sign, because this seems kind of incredible. Well, that night I did not receive any immediate confirmation. Okay. So the next day, on Sunday, October 6th, the day after, 2024, I was doing a task at work. In order to fulfill this task, I had to maneuver around some obstacles. As I maneuvered my cart, I accidentally hit some boxes on a low shelf, thereby almost causing them to fall on the ground. Even though I had to hurry somewhat to fulfill my task, I thought I'd better rearrange the boxes properly on the shelf so that they did not fall on someone. As I parked the cart away from the boxes and bent over to rearrange the boxes, I found a $50 bill on the ground that was folded in half.
That's always a good
I
omen.
picked up the $50 bill and looked around. There was no one in the area that could have dropped a perfectly folded $50 bill. As I picked up the bill and examined it, the thought came to me immediately, this is your sign. You really are an angel.
That's a great.
That night I told Ellen the news. She said, I can't believe it. I showed her the $50 bill. From that moment on, I have never questioned that I am an angel. It was Diane's October 5th message and the strong confirmation I received that I was indeed an angel that prompted me to share my life story as an angel in my new book, The League of Azure Blue Angels.
Now, I've had omens and answers to questions appear in the form of $50 bills and $100 bills as well, because that's unlikely. So it's more of an attention getter. It's a sign than finding a quarter, let's say, or a dime.
Yes.
But yeah, I've had yeses come in the form of $50 bills and $100 bills, so I know what that's like. Now, what do you mean by angel? Because angel is one of those terms that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. In ancient Greek, angel meant messenger, and it's true in Hebrew as well. Malak is a messenger. And so if I told you to give a message to Alex, then you're an angel, until you deliver that message. But it came to mean a class of being rather than a job description somewhere in the Alexandrian age. And there are still a lot of people who will argue over whether angels can incarnate into humanity or whether they can, or humans who are earth angels just fulfilling angelic functions without actually being angels. There's still a lot of discussion on those topics. What do you mean by angel?
The being, the class of being.
Okay.
Yeah, but I feel I'm kind of like a messenger too, in certain ways. I try to portray angelicism to others. Try to lift them, be positive, help them whenever I can. I feel like I have an ongoing ministry where I can meet people wherever they are and whatever their needs are, and help to uplift them and maybe give them some advice if the situation opens for that. But I feel like when I read Swedenborg, the Heaven and Hell, I feel like everyone, I guess depending upon the situation, everyone is in the process of becoming an angel. So I kind of take it from that angle.
Okay, understood. And in Greek mythology, the only angels that are named are Hermes, Iris, Angelia, and Hecate. And a lot of people, the way we imagine Hecate today, would be very surprised that Hecate is an officially named ancient Greek angel. She's usually portrayed as a crone these days rather than as a young woman.
Uh-huh. I see.
Now, what is the difference between a blue angel or an azure angel and other types of angels? In neo-theosophy, the blue angels are a form of a protective force for the heavens, and they guard humans as well, and they're under the eye of the Archangel Michael.
Well, there. If I can go on just a little bit here, I could tell you just a little bit about one of the angels that came to us. Actually, it was the one that told Diane that I was an angel. His name is Azure Blue.
Okay.
And he is one of the leaders of a group of angels. There are actually 95,000 angels in this group called the League of Azure Blue Angels. And one of his main tasks, I guess, with this Earth, he does a lot of different things, but one of his main tasks with our Earth is watching. So he's like a watcher. We hear about the watchers in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
He is a watcher who is actually under the he's under the leadership of Hestia. Hestia is in charge of the League of Azure Blue Angels, and he's one of the three kind of heads of it.
So in the
So there.
in the Neo-Theosophic, Hestia is with Helios, one of the chief creator gods of our current section of reality. Is that true in your experiences with Hestia as well?
Well, not exactly. Can you rephrase the question?
Sure. When you're working with the invisible, depending on which belief system you adhere to, there's a hierarchy. For instance, when you're talking about the Urantia book spells out the hierarchy of our local government and the functions of its dignitaries. Am I correct?
Yes.
And the Olympian pantheon has the chief pantheon of 12 plus hundreds of other Olympians who live in that society. And they're not only Olympians, but they're titans, they're satyrs, they're fauns, they're nymphs, they're all sorts of different levels of creation that are under the Olympian influence and become part of the Olympian reality. So
Yes.
in the neo-theosophical reality, you have Helios and Hestia, and they call her Vesta, which is her Roman name.
Yeah, Vesta. Uh-huh.
And they dreamed up this reality and then called Hercules and Amazonia, who translates to Athena, at least when I've been working with those energies. And they focused on our local solar system and the tests that are inherent in this system, and the ladder of evolution that is contained within the experience of being part of this. Is that the same Hestia, or is this a different Hestia?
Well, I'm not sure, to tell you
Okay,
the truth.
good answer.
I just know that when we were having our celestial team meetings, the entities that were there, the beings that were there, said that they were the same beings as were the beings that had those titles in the Greek.
Okay,
Like for instance, the local universe father, Michael of Nebadon, and the local universe mother, local universe mother spirit, that they are the same beings or same entity as Zeus and Hera. And if you look at some of the hierarchical structures in the Urantia book, you notice that one of that we've equated the second source and center as Cronus and Rhea, who were Titans,
right.
and they're way up there. And the local universe is a little bit of a lower reality, or a lower level of creature ascension, creature evolution. So the Olympians would fit more in that area as leadership. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then like we've made a parallel with the local universe father Zeus and local universe mother Hera. That in the Urantia book they mention that their firstborn, the firstborn of their local universe, the first offspring, who actually becomes the executive director of the local universe, is Gabriel. His name is Gabriel. So we've equated Gabriel to Hephaestus.
Okay.
So I mean, there are some parallels that we found as far as like the hierarchical structure. And then, like I said earlier, we have the local universe father and mother, who basically are creating everything within their local universe. Angels, Melchizedeks, all the creatures that are going to be going through the ascension scheme or evolutionary scheme in the local universe, so on and so forth. And of course, they create angels. They create archangels. They create seraphim, cherubim who minister. And it's interesting because the archangels, some of the archangels are created by them, and some of the archangels, created by them to administer, and some of the angels are created by them to evolve and ascend. So there are a couple different types of angels going on there.
Okay, understood. As our conversations progress month by month, I'm sure it'll eventually become clear. And then your book is coming out. When is your book coming out, by the way?
Oh, it should be coming out toward the end of the year.
Awesome. We'll have to do a special episode on your book when it's released, and this way people can learn about it.
Yeah. So did I answer your question, or was that a
Yes,
little
it's
muddy?
birth to a lot of other questions, but I'll ask those in time. I want to make sure that I get to hear your new song, because I'm looking forward to that, and that you have a chance to share all the different ways that people can find your music, find your metaphysical work, and so forth.
Yes, of course. I appreciate that.
Now, the blue angels that you are in contact with, are their functions also protective primarily, or do they have other functions than the protective?
Well, I think they work. I think they work in many ways to administer to evolving mortals.
Okay.
I'm sure protection, like guardian angel, would be probably one of them. Guidance. Um, uh, you know, things like that.
Okay, so they have a variety of different functions and not just the one assigned to them by neo-theosophists.
I would think so. To tell you the truth, I'm not quite exactly sure to the extent that they, like as far as like enumerating what they do. I just know that I feel like the angels that came to us, like Azure Blue and his consort Azurelina and Hestia, and the other 10 angels that have come recently, I believe that it's my firm belief that they came specifically to help Diane toward the end of her life, to comfort her and to help her transition to the next life. And I feel like they came to hold her hand, to take her to the father and mother. I feel that. And then it's funny because after like to prepare her in a way, I think. So I know this gets kind of detailed, but and I'll make it short. But like after, because she was cremated, she wanted to be cremated. After Alex and I pushed her into the crematory, right after that, I turned and I looked to the heavens and I said, "She made it. She made it." I feel like she made it as an angel. And I think I wrote you that email once
Yes.
where yeah, I found a little tag on the floor that said first class. And I remembered from It's a Wonderful Life, the angel becomes angel first class. He gets his wings. So I feel like they kind of prepared her and they prepared her and comforted her, and at the same time, they brought a peace and just a beautiful atmosphere to the home. So in that capacity, that's how I think they kind of helped us. But when we get into the other episodes, there's a job that Azure Blue is giving me when I depart from this life in a different solar system, and we can get into that too.
Okay. And how can we help with the Blue Angels mission? Do they welcome help from humans? And if they do, in what way can humans be of assistance to them in performing their function for this world?
Well, I think in the silence. I think if you prepare a place and you're silent and you reach out to them, ask them for guidance, for healing. I think that they might respond.
Are they connected to the blue cosmic ray that occultists speak about?
I would think so.
Okay.
Yes, and there are a number of blue angel organizations that we have uncovered. The like societies of angels, and they're all associated with the color blue. And there's actually a league of Cerulean angels.
That's what inspired the name of the show, the Cerulean Sphere.
Yeah,
And for those who don't know, cerulean is a word that denotes a blue hue.
blue hue.
Yeah, a type of blue color.
Oh yes, a blue hue, HUE. Yes,
Huey.
yeah. So there's the League of Azure Blue Angels, the League of Teal Angels, the League of Navy Blue Angels, the League of Indigo Angels, the League of Cyan Angels, the League of Blue-Gray Angels, the League of Cerulean Angels, the League of Electric Indigo Angels, the League of Iris Angels, and the League of Turquoise Angels. And finally, the one that we have discovered that Zeus is in charge of is called the Organization of the Royal Blue Angels.
Oh, very good. Um, wow, a lot to think about, and I'm sure in the next show I'll have tons of questions. Now, you wrote a song about angels recently, and
Yeah.
your songs could be accessed online. Can we have a taste or a sample of this new song?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. This song is called Angels All Around Us, and it was actually written like in 2014, so it was a while ago.
Okay.
It was inspired by a children's book that was given to me in one of our Urantia book study group sessions. It was written by a lady who wanted to simplify Urantia book concepts and present them to children. So she wrote a children's book called Angels All Around Us, kind of like a coloring book with little quotes from the Urantia book simplified. It was kind of neat. So it inspired me to write a song called Angels All Around Us. So I can sing a little bit of that for you.
That'd be fantastic. I've been looking forward to it
Mhm.
for the whole hour.
All right. All right, here we go. Angels all around us. Mhm. Love has come in the form of the angels on high, hailing from their starry realms in the bright and blazing sky. With one voice the angels sing songs that make creation ring. Ring out with joy today, sing out with joy, because now there are angels all around us. We have angels all around us. Angels all around us. The word of God is heard through the angels on high, praising God triumphantly in the bright and blazing sky. Come join in the melody, sing as one in harmony. Ring out with joy today, sing out with joy, because now there are angels all around us. We have angels all around us. Angels all around us. We thank you, our celestial helpers, who guide us through the rough and stormy waters. Without you we stumble and we falter. We need a strong hand to raise us up. Love has come in the form of the angels on high, hailing from their starry realms in the bright and blazing sky. With one voice the angels sing songs that make creation ring. Ring out with joy today, sing out with joy, because now there are angels all around us. We have angels all around us. Angels all around us.
Wow.
Amen.
You're gifted with a beautiful voice. Thank you so very much for that. And where can people find this and all your other music? We played your music on the radio show when we had it a lot.
Yes, yes. Number one, thank you so much, Hercules, for this opportunity. I've been involved lately. I went to a Urantia book conference, and we had some wonderful discussions. And I've written a couple articles now that are going to be published in their messenger, like their newsletter. Yeah. So, but I really can't talk about some of these particular concepts except on your radio program and with the panel on the other shows. They just little, maybe a little far out for them, I'm not sure, but I really appreciate being able to express this, Hercules, so thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. So we have our celestial team meetings, which I mentioned in the radio program tonight. About 135 or more videos on our YouTube channel. Celestial team meetings, messages from Lord Maitreya, songs and paintings. It's Michael and Diane Dunkin, Michael and Diannedunkin. That's Michael and Diane Dunkin. That's our YouTube channel. And then if you want to catch the albums, they're on. I have five albums and an EP. They're on all download and streaming sites. You know, the major ones like Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, Shazam, all that. All you have to do is just Google my name under Reverend Michael Dunkin, and all those will come up. And you just click on it. Your Rancher Book inspired songs, and that one that you heard tonight, Angels All Around Us, was part of a new direction I was taking to bring in a little bit more like like house music and hip hop and things like that. Some of the other stuff's a little bit more traditional-ish, gospel-ish, spiritual-ish. Because I have a classical music degree from UC Irvine, so other songs are more classical in nature, more R&B, spiritual pop type. And then if you wanted to email me, my email is Michael Dunkin, that's Dunkin, Michael Dunkin1 at hotmail.com.
Thank you so very much, Michael, for everything, for the information, for the company, for the song. Looking forward to a future conversation. I'm glad that we connected again. And I'm looking forward to learning more about the Blue Angels, all types of Blue Angels.
Yes, and we were talking about, angel meaning also messenger. Right now, Hercules, I am working on a paper that I am submitting to. His name is Byron Belitzos. He's
I've interviewed him in the past.
Have you met him?
I haven't met him, but I interviewed him years and years and years ago. He'd written 2 books, I believe with somebody else on UFOs and the Verdants, I think they were called, the aliens. And then he wrote another book on the Urantia book. And I read all these works years ago.
Yes, well, that's fantastic. He also worked with a gentleman on finding the true Atlantis, and I actually have a book right in front of me it's equating Atlantis with Eden, like the Eden in the Urantia book. They actually did topographical studies underwater on the eastern Mediterranean coast and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? I'm going to be a messenger, and I'm going to finish this article and submit it. And we talked about it at the conference because I was at his workshop at the Urantia Book Conference. And it's what I've been telling you, what Diana and I have been, sharing in the last few years, is that the Urantia book was not necessarily written by a sleeping subject trance channeler or by William Sadler or others, that it may go back to the Adventists and maybe even earlier to the Millerite movement. So I'm almost finished with that. I'm so excited. And I'm going to submit it to him and hopefully be a messenger to break this whole thing open. Because they need to know. They need to know who wrote their book.
That would
it's
take
been
away
a secret
mystery, though.
What's that?
There's an aura of mystery around that, so you might be taking away the aura of mystery. But again, the truth should come out in the end.
Yeah, I guess. But the crazy thing though is I feel like the aura of mystery was one that was done for other purposes. I mean, maybe they were altruistic, but it was deliberate. So, and when there's like a deliberate secrecy, it's a little bit different than an air of mystery. I don't know. Just my opinion.
When your paper is submitted and published, we'll have a show dedicated to exploring that mystery as well. Thank you, my friend, and I look forward to next month already. And I look forward to your joining us on the panel next weekend.
Yes, I'm so enjoying that. I just wish everyone could hear that, because there are some incredible. The people on the panel are just such quality people who have just had such amazing experiences, and they're so creative, and It's just their depth is great. I'm just enjoying it. I just like to listen sometimes because they're just so fascinating, you know.
And you're one of those people too, so everything applies to you. Thank you, Michael. And thanks to all who've tuned in. Until next time, this is us wishing you joyous journeys and amazing adventures. Thanks again, Michael. Give my love to Alex.
All right, God bless you and Athena and your family. Thanks.